What is up, PokeMoshPitbeta? My name is ignitednight, and today I bring you a pretty awesome battle I had against Ramperdos, aka Rampy, who has his own YouTube where he uploads battles, so be sure to check that out after this battle. And I hope you have as much fun watching this as I had playing it. He's going to lead off with his Whimsicott. I'm going to lead off with my Scarfian Mega. I'm just going to go straight for the Bug Buzz, predicting either a Gliscor switch in or him to go for a substitute. I do have the Tinted Lens, so even if he does switch into a Gliscor, Bug Buzz is still going to do a pretty good amount because Tinted Lens doubles the base power of a not very effective hit, essentially turning it into neutral damage. He's going to switch from his Porygon 2 though, and it takes the Bug Buzz like it's nothing. Doesn't even do like a fourth damage. So I'm just going to go into Swampert predicting a Thunder Wave, and I'm going to take this opportunity to set up some Stealth Rocks. He's going to go into his Whimsicott. Gotta get used to the English names. And I'm predicting an Encore here, so I'm just going to go into Yan Mega because even if he does go for like a Sub or a Leech Seed or whatever it is that Aerofunes do, I'm going to be able to just U-turn out of there. But he does go for the Stun Spore, which is very unfortunate. Pretty much cripples my Yan Mega because I am in fact Scarfed. So pretty much the only thing this thing is going to do is just come in on Aerofunes and just U-turn out of there. So I'm going to U-turn, go back into my Swampert, try to get some phasing. I saw his team before. He had a Chandelure and a Galvantula, so I really want to get those things in and get them taking Stealth Rock damage because they're both weak to Stealth Rocks. He's going to switch out, go into his Conkeldurr, and I'm going to roar him out, and I do hit the Galvantula, which is awesome. It takes a fourth damage, and I know I could live any hit, so I'm just going to stay in, go for the roar again, because when it comes back in, it's going to be less than 50 health, and yeah, I'm just going to keep phasing him out. He's going to go into Porygon. I'm pretty sure I can take any hit that it throws, and I'm just going to keep roaring him out. Fortunately, I do not get the Shandera, but I do get the Galvantula again, and predicting him to go for a Bug Buzz because I know I can't live another one. I'm going to go into my Scizor, and here I make a pretty bad move. I predict him to switch out, and I go for the Pursuit, but he instead stays in and goes for the Thunder. So I should have Bullet Punched there, but because of that mistake, I'm going to lose my Scizor. So I'm just going to go into Latios, Revenge it with a Hidden Power Fire, and I'm going to try to feign Scarf or a Specs since 130% of Latioses out there are either a Scarf or a Specs. So I'm going to switch out, go into my Deoxys just to kind of wall this Porygon 2. This Deoxys, what it does is it has Cosmic Power, Nightshade, Recover, and Taunt. So this is a pretty good set that I've been using back on my PO days. What you do is you just Cosmic Power up and taunt any kind of phasers or toxic users and just keep on Seismic Tossing or Nightshading for some consistent damage. Unfortunately though, I actually had Seismic Toss on it before, but I switched it to Nightshade because I figured no one uses normal types that much, so I'm pretty much walled by that Porygon, so I just gotta bluff maybe a Toxic or something and try to get him to switch out. So predicting the Encore, I'm going to go into my Yan Mega. He switches into his Whimsicott. He's going to go for a Sub. I'm just going to go for a U-turn and just keep on phasing him once again with Swampert. Even if he does go for a Leech Seed, it doesn't really matter because I can just switch out to whatever comes in. But he instead goes for the Stun Spore, which, I mean, Swampert's a slow piece of garbage anyways, so I don't really know what he was trying to do there. I guess trying to get Parahacks maybe. But yeah, Porygon comes in, takes some more residual damage. I'm going to go back into my Deoxys, try to maybe scare him out. And Ice Beam is going to do pretty much nothing. So I'm just going to taunt, predicting the Aerofune to come in, or the Whimsicott, but he's instead going to just stay in and get some damage. I really can't do anything to this Porygon 2, and the only way I'm pretty much going to beat this thing is if I can get in Zapdos safely and just Toxic it. So I'm pretty sure he's not going to go for the Ice Beam now, so I'm just going to go into my Zapdos, but he actually switches and goes back into his Whimsicott. And fearing the substitute, I'm just going to go into my Yan Mega again, but he actually switches and goes into his Porygon 2 again, so that's a pretty good play on his part, and I'm forced to once again just switch back out into my either my Swampert or my Deoxys. No, I go for Swampert, yeah. So he goes for an Ice Beam, doesn't really do much. I'm just going to keep on roaring him, trying to get his Shandera to come out so I can just get some nice damage on it. I also wanted to know what kind of Shandera this was. If he is Scarf, that's going to be a big threat to my team. But if he Specs, it's going to be much easier to deal with. So I'm just going to see what he locks himself into. He locks himself into Shadow Ball, so I'm going to be able to switch in my Zapdos and just get up a Sub or a Toxic. So he's going to switch out his Chandelure, go into Porygon 2, which is awesome because I'm then going to get a Toxic off on this thing, and it's just going to be that much easier to deal with. And get some subs up and hopefully try to Toxic stall this thing to death because this thing is just a huge pain in my backside and I really just want this thing out of here. So I'm kind of fearing the Whimsicott coming in and encoring me into Substitute. Luckily, he does go for the Recover though, so I'm able to just Thunderbolt it and get some residual damage. And he's going to go for the Ice Beam, and even though I am relatively specially bulky, it is going to break my sub. So I'm predicting him now to stay in, go for the Ice Beam, and just try to break my sub. But he instead switches into his Whimsicott. I'm going to go into my Deoxys so I can try to taunt it so it doesn't recover. But yeah, I'm just going to instead taunt this thing because whatever it does, it's not going to really matter because I'm going to switch out anyways. So he's going to go for the Leech Seed, and I don't really care about it. I'm just going to taunt it and see what he switches into. And I'm just going to go into Yanmega maybe to fodder it or just to see what he's going to switch into because the Yanmega is pretty much useless at this point. So he's going to go into Shandera, and I want to see what it locks itself into. If it is Scarf and it goes for Shadow Ball, it could wreck a lot of my team. So fortunately, he does go for the Flamethrower, and that's going to kill it off, and I'm able to get a free switch into my Latios, and I'm just going to Draco Meteor, predicting a switch. He does go into Porygon 2, and unfortunately, I missed the Draco Meteor, but it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to be able to kill it off right after. So that's a dead Porygon right there, which is awesome. It's nice to see it die. Now I can just live my life without fear of being walled by stupid ducks. And at -2, I'm going to be forced to switch out, go to my Deoxys, and he goes for the Stun Spore, which doesn't really matter because I do have the Lumberry, and I'm not really that fast to begin with, but I make a pretty bad play here. I go for the Nightshade instead of the Taunt. Taunt really would have helped me right here, but I don't really know why I go for the Nightshade. Leech Seed plus Leftovers is pretty much going to negate that damage, so that was pretty stupid. And now I realize it, and I go for the Taunt. And I'm just going to make a blind switch right here, knowing he's going to switch. And I'm really fearing the Gliscor at this point, because if it is the Toxic or the Poison Heal variety, then that thing is just going to be a huge pain, and I'm not going to be able to touch it with my Zapdos because all I have is Thunderbolt. However, I do see the Leftovers, so I'm thinking it's not a Poison Heal set, which would just be awesome because I can just Toxic Stall this thing. He's going to go for the Ice Fang, and it does absolutely nothing despite me having not really much of a defensive investment, and luckily he is not the Poison Heal one, which is just great, so I can just start subbing. He's going to go for a late game Stealth Rocks, which is going to be pretty annoying because I do have a Zapdos still, and I'm just going to be able to stall this thing out. And here I'm predicting him to switch into his Whimsicott, so I'm going to go for the Toxic. Unfortunately, though, it misses, which sucks, and I really can't switch out in fear of him subbing, so I know he's not going to go for the Encore, so I'm just going to go for the Thunderbolt as he goes for a Substitute, hoping that it breaks or gets a crit or something. But surprisingly, it does break the sub despite me not really having much of a special attack investment and air from resisting it, so that's pretty good. He can't really do much. He's going to switch him to his Gliscor, and I'm still behind his sub, so he really can't do anything to me, and I'm predicting him to go for the Ice Fang right now, and I'm just going to Roost up, slowly taking toxic damage on his end, and with the Roost, Ice Fang is going to do not enough to where it's going to break the sub, so that is awesome. I can just stall this thing out, but I have to kind of predict the air from coming in, and that's what I do right now when I go for the Toxic. So he's going to go for the Ice Fang, and I'm not going to sub up. I'm going to go for a Toxic, predicting him to switch out into his Whimsicott and go for the Encore, and luckily I do predict that right, and I'm going to be able to Toxic this thing, so now even if he does stay in, it's not really going to matter because he's just going to slowly die, which is awesome. That's two huge pains that's been dealt with Toxic. And now I'm just going to go into Deoxys just to kind of see what he's going to do, because I really can't do much to it, but he's going to die anyways. So if there's anything I want stun sport, it's going to be Deoxys. So he's going to go for Leech Seed, and it's going to miss. I'm going to get fully paralyzed. All this doesn't really matter because he's just going to die to Toxic. So that's awesome. Now he has his Gliscor, his Shandera or Chandelure, and his Conkeldurr. So I'm just going to leave in Deoxys just to see what he locks himself into. He's going to lock himself into Shadow Ball, which is awesome because I can go into Zapdos and just start stalling this thing as well. Predicting him to maybe... Or no, I just want this thing dead, so I go for the Thunderbolt, but that was a pretty bad play thinking about it. I should have just gone for the Roost. So now I'm at a position where I don't know if Ice Fang will kill. I don't know if he's going to predict my Roost, and I don't know if I have enough to make a sub, so I just go for the blind Roost, thinking if he goes for the Earthquake, it's not going to be enough to kill me, judging by how much Ice Fang did. But unfortunately, he does get the crit, which really sucks because I'm pretty sure I could have survived that, but that's how life works. Stuff like that happens, so can't really look back on it. So it's all up to Latios now, and I'm just going to go for the Surf, kill him off, and right now I'm just hoping I get a crit, or he doesn't, or he's not the Rokushin that's 252 special defense and careful. Unfortunately, though, he is, so he's going to live the Draco Meteor, go for the payback, and that's going to pretty much be game because he has Mach Punch. So great game, Ramperdos. Be sure to check him out. He's a really awesome guy. And if you like this battle, be sure to check out my channel as well. So if you can, subscribe to me, Moshpit, and as well as my opponent, and I hope you have a wonderful day.